Welcome into the Jordy Culotta Show. Wave your hand out there, baby!
Shout out to the show.
She puts the pinky into the nostril. Man, look at that.
Healthy competition, there's nothing like it.
Y'all grow up.
The line's wrapped around the stadium.
Different strengths. I just lost a tooth.
It's going to be fun.
You know, we might have a story.
I love what you're doing.
Ogeron wants to take us fishing this afternoon.
Sharif, you play for the bad boys of the SEC, man. We don't apologize to anybody.
A lot of people are saying you're going to be wearing number 7.
I don't really know. I want to.
He look crazy, Bill.
Good feet on the old man.
Definitely come back.
We'll be right back with the Jordy Culotta Show. Welcome into a Tuesday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show right here on this Tuesday. Make sure and hit that like button, share button, comment button. As daily, we're brought to you by our friends over at RMB Builders, Rhett Bourgeois and the crew. Remember, if you are looking for a brand new home, if you're looking for a remodel, if you're looking for reconstruction, get in touch with Rhett, RMB Builders. Get on Instagram. You can find them there.
Do they post?
Hit them a DM over on Instagram.
Every day.
And you can get in touch with Rhett and tell him you heard it here on the show. Today we're going to talk to Bob Starkey, top assistant coach for the LSU women's team, as LSU women will be going to the Sweet 16. Of course, we'll talk to Coach about the run to get to the Sweet 16 and what it's been like on this journey here in year 1 for him, as they'll be taking on number 8 Utah on Friday, which should be a fantastic game. We'll also talk about LSU baseball. Gets back out on the diamond tonight. They will try and get back onto the winning streak here after losing Sunday and giving up a lead to Texas A&M. But either way, taking 2 of 3 from the Aggies over the weekend, and still yesterday number 1 in all of the baseball polls. Even though they were they lost on Sunday, the 2 wins on Friday and Saturday was enough for everybody to see that they are still the number 1 team in the country, and really for the majority of time on Sunday.
I think they're just going to stay the number 1 team.
That would be
throughout
awesome.
The season, right?
That would be awesome.
I mean,
as long as Skeen stays healthy.
Yeah. I mean, they're wild.
Katie is here. Lloyd is here. Stewie is here.
Everybody's here.
Good morning. Happy Tuesday. How we feeling? Tommy Tanks is the SEC Player of the Week. LSU sophomore third baseman Tommy White was named SEC Player of the Week by the league. He was 9 for 19 in his 4 games last week. He had 1 home run, 11 knocked in, and right now is really playing at a high level. Tommy White was the name, of course, in the offseason that everybody was looking forward to watching after his freshman season at NC State, and after an early injury has really caught on. It looks like he's caught his stride, leading the team in RBI, and now the SEC Player of the Week for his performance.
Feels like
week.
LSU baseball has had somebody that's been LSU Player of the Week pretty much every week.
It does.
So far this year. So
And they'll
is that
continue
good?
to.
Skeens and Cruz feel like you could give it to him every week. You know, I mean, Skeens feels like he could be the pitcher every week, or at least he could kind of be set out. And, you know, Cruz has now touched this. He's touched this stratosphere of he's so good that even the greatness is not celebrated anymore. You know what I mean? He could be batting 500 and nobody even talks about it.
It's almost like you expect it.
Right.
Which is
So,
not fair to him or
it's not-
Skeens at this point.
It's not fair. It's not fair to Cruz. More Cruz just because of like coming into the season, you knew this was going to be his year, and now that he's performing and really playing at this high level, everybody's just kind of like, I told you so.
I expect him to hit a home run like every game.
Sure.
sure.
He looks as if he will.
Yeah.
I mean, like the demand at the plate and just the presence he has up there. He looks, I mean, to hear people like Doug Thompson say, and it's true. I mean, Skeens and Cruz, for all intents and purposes, they're big leaguers. I mean, like they are Major League Baseball players
Yeah, they
playing
look
at a
like it.
college level. That like Doug said, there's 25 teams probably that Skeens would be on a five-man rotation with in the bigs, and Cruz is now 3 years removed from his high school graduating class.
How old's Skeens? What year is he?
He's a junior.
He's a
Okay.
junior.
Yeah, so he's
Yeah,
gone.
that's the debate. And if you're a fan of LSU baseball, feels like you might have the 1 and 2 pick in
Yeah.
the draft coming up, whether it be Skeens or Cruz.
For sure.
Just
So-
kind of depends on what team it is. What
Well, I
your
think it's
need.
gonna be the Pirates.
Ugh.
That's why I would rather just go third.
Right.
I'm good. I might come back to school.
Y'all fly private?
Yeah. No, they don't.
Yeah, well, I might go back.
It's like a major. It's Major
yeah,
League.
Major League.
I
Yeah.
forgot about them.
This is good. 7:47 in Milwaukee. That's not your plane. Yours is this one rolling in right here.
It's called a winning streak.
It's got duct tape on the wing. So Tommy Tanks named SEC Player of the Week, and LSU back in action tonight as the Tigers will be taking on Central Arkansas this evening.
Their coach is Jay Johnson's high school teammate,
Oh, nice.
Central Arkansas's coach. And they're pretty good, right? They're on a 4-game winning streak.
I don't know. You tell me. Are they any
I
good?
mean, supposedly, yeah, they're on a 4-game winning streak.
I don't play.
Take your word for it.
Okay.
I think I think LSU's playing with a little bit of. I think they're a little pissed off. You know what I mean?
Because of Sunday?
Yeah, just because of
Yeah.
the way they lost Sunday. I think that was a bad taste in your
you
mouth.
would be.
I mean, they really kind of dominated the game for a lot of it. And to lose in the style they did after the weekend they had, I think they really kind of are ready to get back out onto the field and, make it right, really. So I hope our, Central, they're 11-8. Central Arkansas is. LSU's 18-2. This feels like a tough spot for Central Arkansas.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I don't think they're going to beat LSU. I'm just saying they've been doing
This
well.
feels like a bad. This feels like.
So much for pretty
Yeah,
good, huh, Katie?
right. It's good to see y'all on a Tuesday, but we got some demons to work out here.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
So,
I can't
I mean, like,
imagine.
I
Coming
think
here,
that,
too.
It
They had to
hopefully-
take a bus from Arkansas.
Yeah.
And
Jeez.
Central Arkansas is in Central Arkansas.
Well, clearly.
Thank
It's
you,
horrible.
Is that where they're located?
That is what a
Central
5-year degree
Arkansas?
from LSU will teach you these days. Dude, what'd you graduate in?
Geography.
Hell yeah.
Isn't all of Arkansas Central Arkansas?
I mean, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much.
Multiple choice. South Louisiana represents Central Louisiana, North Louisiana, or South Louisiana.
South.
That a boy, Stewie.
Hey,
Go
I'll-
Tigers,
look,
baby.
I'll kill a geography.
Go
Tigers.
Tigers.
And if you're above Sidlaw, you're Arkansas.
Anybody see the shot that Nick Saban sniped at Nate Oates
What
yesterday
happened? I saw a little bit.
in
but
his
what's
press
the story?
conference? So Tony Mitchell is a true freshman over at Alabama, and he got pulled over last week with the Tuscaloosa welcome kit. Guns, drugs, and cash.
And rock and roll.
Yeah, right. Welcome to T-Town, baby. Open up that door over there and grab you a couple of pounds of weed. How much cash you needing right now? A couple of thousand? We can get you suited up as well if you stop by the mall before noon. Pick up your charger and your AKs over there in the corner. Roll Tide, baby.
The Charger.
If you're to roll up to Monroe, you'll be fine there too.
So Tony Mitchell, the true freshman over in Tuscaloosa, gets scooped up by the cops last week, and like we said, not good for him. He's a 5-star recruit, He was arrested in Florida, possession of weed, intent to sell and or deliver, which is the new way the kids are selling these days. Had some guns, had some cash in there as well. And Saban, yesterday in his first spring press conference, was asked about the status of Tony Mitchell when he reports to campus. Saban says, everybody's got an opportunity to make choices and decisions. There's no such thing as being in the wrong place at the wrong time. You got to be responsible for who you're with and who you're around and what you do. It is what it is. But there is cause and effect when you make choices and decisions that put you in bad situations. This has to be a direct shot at Nate Oates. Nate Oates used the quote just weeks ago when talking about his star player. Hell yeah, baby.
Alabama
Roll Tide. There should be an Alabama hat on top of that. I mean, give me the crimson with the white A cream colored across of it.
What's the stuff in the back? Like, what's that red thing in those
pretty
Probably
papers?
some type of case.
Or a scale.
It's a scale.
Yeah.
What are those things in the
Not
back,
that
like
we
those
know.
papers? And then that's
That
like
looks
his
like
log of
evidence
sales.
bags.
Yeah, I think that's just
How many
evidence
grams,
bags.
if you had to guess? Because I have it pulled up right here.
Hey, that's
If
like
I had to
probably.
guess. Let's go, Katie.
Is that like 5 ounces in that big bag right there?
Oh, Katie. I don't know if that looks like a little more than that.
You think so?
It's like a turkey bag.
It is?
Yeah.
I mean, that's like a trash bag.
Like it's
No.
that's like a big like plastic bag.
That would be 226 grams of marijuana.
How many ounces is that though?
I
How
don't
many
know.
ounces? How many pounds?
How many? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's like, okay, so maybe 2 pounds.
It's
Seven
in like
th-
a Walmart
That's 7
bag.
pounds? Is that what you just said?
I said 226 grams.
Oh, I thought you just came back and said 7.
No. 7,000 in cash, 226 grams of marijuana, and he also just got a charge added an hour ago of fleeing law enforcement going 141 miles an hour.
141.
His play was when he got pulled over, the cop says it smells like weed in here.
I bet.
And Tony says, I got a little bit. And hands him the little bag that he's got in his pocket.
What a
And
dumbass.
figures like,
This is gonna get me
good.
off.
we're good, right? Like
You-
I told you I had the weed. I was honest with you.
Do you know Coach Saban?
Like
I could call Coach
Don't-
Saban right now.
No. Let's not do that just yet. Let's not do that just yet. Let's not do that just yet.
They're saying that's only a half a pound.
Take this small bag here and let's see if we can't work something out. And then that just opens him up to now your car is going to be searched here. And, you know,
Well,
we
you're
got-
driving around with a garbage bag of weed that's clearly not sealed up. I mean,
Yeah,
what?
you got the guns
It's
and
like
the cash
open.
on the passenger seat.
Oh,
Either way,
God.
we're
Half
losing
feet.
we're losing sight and focus
Half?
here. This
That looks like more
this
than
happens
half.
every off season in Tuscaloosa or somewhere around it, right? I mean, this is the Alabama special. But the more important news here is that Saban doesn't like the attention that Nate Oates and Alabama basketball has brought to Tuscaloosa, right? Because for as much as college programs and college athletics want to stay out in the forefront, they want you following their social media, they want to announce everything that's successful of going on. The last thing they want is the federal government snooping around and cops snooping around asking questions. And the way that Nate Oates has handled this thing, both from a public relations standpoint, and now we're getting a little peek behind the curtain and seeing that internally, the governor of the state, I mean, the head football coach, Saban, does not appreciate what Nate Oates is bringing to town. And number one in the country and new facility on the way or not, Saban, I think, is sending a message to Oates of, hey, man, you're replaceable. Like, don't get lost in all this basketball stuff and think that people really give a damn. The first thing you got to do is protect the brand and make sure that, you know, in what is the football offseason, that you're not bringing unneeded and unwanted attention to town. And I thought yesterday, you know, look, we said it when Saban last summer made the shots and took the shots at Jimbo Fisher and made the quotes about what was going on in College Station. Every time he opens his mouth, He knows exactly what is going to be the effect. Just like he said, to every bad decision, there's a cause and effect. To every time he takes the podium, especially in a press conference atmosphere, you may catch him on a golf course like they did a couple of weeks ago when he was pissed off and he had probably just gotten off the phone and somebody threw a microphone in his face and said, yeah, we're playing Auburn, Tennessee, and LSU. I don't know how they came to that conclusion. We're like, oh, whoa, Nick's flying off the handle a little bit. But when he sits down in a press conference environment where he's thought of it, has something rolled up to where he's like taking notes and making sure there are bullet points that he's checking off and getting to, that stuff's calculated. I mean, like, that is put together. That is, I know exactly my words and the weight that they hold, and this is what I want to say about that situation, and people can interpret it however the hell they want. In fact, he's probably urging people to say, hey, Nate, he's buzzing your tower, bro.
But why? Why do that? I mean, he's Alabama football coach. Why go at the Alabama basketball coach who has the #1 winning team
Golden Goose
in the country? Like, why even bring more attention to what's going on at Alabama? Why not do what Nate Oates did and just sweep it under the rug? Just be quiet about it.
Well,
Saban's not that type of guy.
I know, but he should be maybe this time.
No, but he's not going to be. And that's the thing, that it's non-negotiable when it comes to him. In Tuscaloosa especially.
I know.
Right? And I don't think that Nate Oates, I don't think that he fanned the flame. I think that he's just realizing that, hey, man, only thing that matters around here is us.
You're saying you don't think Nick fanned the flame?
No, that Nate Oates fanned the flame. I don't think that he was trying to mess with Saban.
Either. Yeah.
Right? But Saban is just extending his reach and showing you, hey, man, everything in this town I'm going to touch, and it's all going to run through me. Yeah, but I mean, Katie, that's what comes in being that personality. Whoever were the top personalities, think about it. I mean, we can go back as far as like people like Woody Hayes in Columbus, Ohio, at Ohio State. I mean, he thought it was okay to punch a kid in the face during a football game just because of the power he was allowed to walk around with.
It's wild.
Right? I mean, like some of the things that these people get away with, these Joe Paterno.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the stuff that he knew about and didn't speak up on because he was trying to just live his powerful life.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, not that stuff is any comparison, but that's who these people are.
Yeah.
Right? And in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, when it comes down to it, nobody really cares about college basketball. Just like we've talked about down here. When it really comes down to it, as long as you protect the football program, well, then you kind of do that at all cost.
Yeah.
And if it means getting rid of coaches and programs suffering, then that's just what it means, right? And people will say, okay, I guess, I guess we'll sign up for that. And in Tuscaloosa, if you've got a murder case pending where one of your top players is around and you're not disciplining those guys and you're bringing guys in, he's letting you know, like, that's not how it operates around here. There's no such thing as being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Like, you make decisions, they have effects. They have consequences. And if you're not going to enforce them, I will.
I mean.
Right? Because I guarantee you, the next time they pass each other on campus, the next time Oates walks past his office,
makes me nervous to think
he's going to
about
think
it.
like, hey, coach, you mind if I get a minute? Sure, Nate. Hit that door behind you real quick. In fact, never mind. Let me hit this button.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And close the door.
Exactly.
Whapa! You know what I mean? Closes right behind him and say, hey, man, look, we just had to buzz your tower a little bit and let you know, like, I don't care if he's, you know how many lottery picks we've had come through here? You know what I mean? This guy, Tony Mitchell's a 5-star defensive back. Saban needs DBs. But he's now taking Tony Mitchell and being him the example of, lottery pick or not, you better get control of your program because the federal government and the cops sniffing around in January is doing nobody any good.
Not a good look.
Right? Like, I mean, it's just...
We can only have one program that operates like this.
Exactly.
I can't cover for two, but I can cover for one. I mean, Saban's basically the athletic director saying, look, football can do this. You cannot.
Right.
I can't cover for both of you.
Well, and I've got 105. You've got 12.
Get your house in order.
Get control, bro. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, and if they do step out, this is how you handle it. It's not getting to the podium saying, I didn't read the police report and he was in the wrong place at the wrong time when somebody was killed.
Right.
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
like, come on, man.
I know.
You
That
know,
was a
like,
bad
come
one.
on, dude. You know what I mean? Like, this is some Les Miles stuff. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
it
This is
was a
some
bad
stuff
look.
where you're like, what are we doing?
It just means more.
I'm surprised Saban hasn't spoken out earlier about this. And haven't we all been in the wrong place?
Well,
at
this
the
is the
wrong time?
first. This is the first time.
Everyone in this room.
Not
like
according
that.
to Saban.
Nope.
Not according to Saban.
Yeah.
Katie.
It's impossible.
That's so dumb.
Not me.
Not me.
Always in the right place.
At the right time.
Okay.
6:30.
Yep.
But
Here all day.
I mean, look, man. Oates is definitely peeking over his shoulder this morning.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
wouldn't
he's-
you be? I'd be
I mean,
scared to death.
This is the biggest week
Yeah.
that
Of his
he's
career.
had.
What time
At
Bob
Alabama.
Saban? Yes.
Like, what's he been there? 3 years?
Yeah.
4 years?
I wouldn't sleep.
This is the deepest they've been in the tournament. He's the number 1 overall seed. And on Tuesday morning, he wakes up and the headline in the local paper is Saban taking shots at him.
The big bad wolf.
I mean,
I'd be
like,
so pissed if I were Nate Oates. Like, he's in the middle of the
poked the
tournament.
hey, guess what? Nate, who cares? You know what I mean? Like,
We
hey,
got spring ball
hey,
coming up.
Hey, Saban, Nate's pissed. Good. Put him on the line. You know what I mean? Like,
God.
real quick. Let me send a shot to Nate.
That's
Actually, tell him
wrong.
I'm coming to his office.
That was
Oh,
wrong for
really?
him.
Is he pissed? The public shot didn't get to him? Let me take this private shot at him. Unpin this grenade and throw it in his office and lock the door. I mean,
So
like,
wrong.
I mean, we should take San Diego State, right? Plus 7.5.
I don't know. We'll see. Are you the number 1 team or not? Because if
I
I'm
think they
Nate,
are.
like really behind closed doors, you can't show this publicly. You probably can't even let anybody on campus know. But about 2 or 3 people, I'm pissed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, F this guy. You know what I mean? Like, forget that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, behind closed doors, it's like, I mean, right now,
Yeah.
this week.
Exactly.
I mean, come on, man.
That's wrong.
You know, but you know, I mean, like it's that.
But control yourself.
Tug of
Nick.
war.
I mean,
You know, I
he
mean,
could have
it's-
controlled himself. He could have waited another week and a half.
Yeah.
But I do love it.
Yeah.
And Hunter Hall sent me a picture of who's the player again? I'm
Tony
sorry.
Mitchell
Brandon
is,
Miller.
is
No,
Tony
Mitchell. Yeah, the guy that got arrested.
Tony
Yeah.
Mitchell.
Yeah, apparently he was supposed to be 6'1", but they haven't measured at the.
I heard something about that.
he was
What's
about
the deal with
5'11".
that?
Oh.
That's Alabama.
Alabama
time.
fudging
those-
the numbers a little bit again.
Those Bama numbers coming
Yeah.
wrong again.
But I mean-
Happened in the combine. They do it again.
I mean, what are we arguing? That they don't put out players?
yeah, I
Right.
mean,
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, it's fun
It
to make
doesn't
fun of them when
matter.
they're getting arrested for guns, cash, and weed. You know what I mean? When you start kind of making fun of their heights and weights, they're like, eh, but he's still an all-pro.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
They're still all Americans.
Kids an
he's
All-American.
still an all-conference guy. Yeah, but he's not 6'1". All right, okay. Well, you win. You win.
How'd you find that out? The police report.
That is true.
Imagine,
That is so
imagine
funny.
that talk in like an NFL scouting room. Like, he's not 6'1". Well, he's been an All-American all 4
I
years.
mean,
I don't know.
Coach, he's been locking up Kayshawn Booty the last 2 years. You know what I mean?
Not Malik Neighbors.
His mugshot shows
He's on
5'11".
5'11". Can we get the weight also?
Where'd you get that info? Tuscaloosa PD.
The blotter.
It's right there. You can see it.
Old
Dade County
Tuscaloosa
Police.
And he lost half a pound.
Yeah, right.
Jail
Cut
food.
weight, Coach?
Jail food's not good for him.
Get him back on the weed when he gets to Tuscaloosa.
Prison breakfast stinks.
Put him in touch with Tony. What was our boy's name? The DB, Tony.
Tony
He
Brown.
was always
Tony
Tony
Brown.
Brown, always swinging the towel.
Uh-huh.
Never played.
Supposed to go to LSU.
5-star.
Yeah. Got cooked
Duke
by Hunter
LSU.
Renfro.
Yes.
Make sure to hit that like button, share button, comment button. As we said, we appreciate you being here. All right, we're going to talk to Bob Starkey here in a couple of minutes. We're going to talk to Coach as the LSU ladies are getting prepared here for the round of 16. They made it through the first rounds, of course, at home, which was a fantastic atmosphere to watch on Sunday. We'll talk to Coach about that environment. Of course, Angel Reese with another double-double and what her effort is doing right now. And this part of the season, what's it mean? Coach has got great experience. Coach Starkey's got experience at this part of the year. How it tightens up. We'll talk to Coach Starkey next here on the Jordy Culotta Show. As we said, brought to you every day by RMB Builders.
Only guy that didn't crowd surf.
Donaldsonville Glass and Body, the trusted name in frame, body, and automotive paint repair since 1977. They have served their customers for over 45 years. You can find them online at dgbauto.com or stop in and see them Railroad Avenue and Division Street out in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Look, they can help you with your insurance claims. They can make the repair process as stress-free as possible. I'm speaking from experience here. I've got numerous windshields, body repair, all done by Kenny and the crew over at Donaldsonville Glass and Body. They are, without question, the most well-equipped shop in the area. Stop in and see them today. Shop them online, dgbauto.com, or stop in and see the crew over in Division Street in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Donaldsonville Glass and Body. Hey fellas, it's Jordy Culotta for my friends over at Men's Total Health. Guys, do you suffer from fatigue, decreased libido, erectile dysfunction, weight gain or loss of muscle mass, signs of depression, anxiety, hair loss, mental fog, general loss of interest? Then you might be suffering from low testosterone. Go see my friend Mike Roach and his great team over at Men's Total Health, over in Metairie at menstotalhealth.net online. And stop in and see how they can change your life today. A simple shot and some knowledge from Mike Roach can get you back up, moving with your energy, get your sex drive back, build your muscle mass, make you feel young again. All online, menstotalhealth.net. Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz.
The Jordy Culotta Show is brought to you by A-Bears Lawn Maintenance. Commercial or residential, A-Bears Lawn Maintenance is ready to work. A-Bears can tackle all your homeowners association requirements. Call Blake at 225-485-8022. A-Bears Lawn Maintenance.
Get Gordon and get it done. Get Gordon and get it done. Corrects done. Personal injury done. Workers' comp done. Truck wrecks done. Get Gordon and get it done. Get Gordon and get it done.
Hey Baton Rouge, when traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, whether you need to fill up your vehicle or your belly, stop by Go-Mart and On The Go Deli. Go-Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you might need on your trip. So stop by Go-Mart at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left, and visit Tom and Wright Granning and their awesome team at Go-Mart.
Are you looking for sound financial advice? Then get in touch with Daniel Newman of Edward Jones. You can call him today at 225-261-8262 or email him daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. If you're planning for retirement, saving for college for children or grandchildren, or just looking for sound investment opportunities, get in touch with Daniel today, 225-261-8262, located on Magnolia Square Drive in Central. Daniel Newman of Edward Jones.
Don't let the name fool you. Men's Total Health has offerings for the ladies, too. Guys, is your wife or partner suffering from urinary incontinence, low sexual desire, or pain during sex? Then the O-Shot might be for her. Don't let it scare you. It's totally natural. It's PRP. And Mike Roach and the crew at Men's Total Health will make you as comfortable as you can be. Contact me for more information, Katie at jordyculottashow.com, and I'm happy to tell you everything that Men's Total Health has to offer for the ladies.
Fourier Insurance Agency, established in 1946, locally can help you with any of your home, auto, commercial, contractors, life and health insurance today. Give them a call, 225-383-0682, or log online to FourierAgency.com.
Hey, she's on her way up.
Hey, G, I got you something.
Hey, Coach. What do you think? Is this too much?
If you look good, you play good.
All right, then. Let's get it done.
All right, welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, live here on this Tuesday. Another number one seed fell last night in women's college basketball. We saw Stanford fall over the weekend. Indiana fell last night in the Sweet 16 as they had reached the Sweet 16 for the first time since 1992. They were at home in Bloomington as number 9 Miami. We've talked about this Miami team before. They're the ones that they have the Cavender twins, who got caught up in some NIL stuff that was investigated by the NCAA. They found that they had an illegal meal with a Miami booster.
The Miami booster.
John Ruiz, billionaire. And they've already ruled on it. They've already given Miami their penalty. They've already talked about it openly. They've already talked about it publicly. More to the fact and more to the case that they've got nothing on LSU basketball and nothing on Will Wade. Because if they did, they would have said it. But Miami they fall last night. But that's the example. Uh-huh. I mean, they're the example in the modern day that if you step out of line and they have the evidence on you, it's not like they're dragging their feet on this other case because they're looking for more evidence, or it's like they just don't have anything to say. Mm-hmm. Because they've shown that if they do have anything to say and they've gone through the process and looked at all the evidence, that they'll rule on it. And the Miami women's basketball team would be great, would be a great
test case,
mile marker of that.
And she was the one that hit the free throw that iced the game, and then she silenced the crowd.
Cavender?
Which one?
How can you tell?
Yeah, they are identical.
They are identical.
Like, they are like truly identical twins.
I mean, I'm not complaining.
Yeah.
Players, too.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah,
they are
that's
players.
So weird. That's cool.
But another number one seed. You rarely see this, and no disrespect, but usually the difference between the haves and the have-nots is a lot like college football and women's college basketball, right? I mean, I can pretty much tell you who's going to be in the college football playoff next season, right? It feels like Georgia's going to be there. It feels like Ohio State or Michigan, maybe even both of them are going to be there. Maybe another SEC team is going to be there.
Lloyd's opening up the Caesars app now.
Right? In women's college basketball, you kind of feel the same way. right? I mean, LSU's a team that's on the rise, but I mean, like, UConn's probably going to be there. Tennessee's probably going to be there. Stanford's probably going to be. I mean, like, there's the usual suspects up top in women's college basketball. Now, I mean, when's the last time 2 number 1 seeds got bounced in the opening weekend of that tournament? I mean, I don't know the history of that game. I know Coach Starkey does, and we can ask him. But, I mean, you start to see the parity really start to play out here, and I think that is a direct effect of the transfer portal and of the NIL
Yep, you're right.
rule. I mean, it's no coincidence that South Florida has 2 Sweet 16 teams still alive. Florida Atlantic and the University of Miami are still there in a transfer portal world where people probably look around and are thinking, hell, I'm not sitting up here in the cold weather anymore. I'm going down to South Beach. I'm going down to Fort Lauderdale. I'm going down to South Florida, and I'm going to play down there. I mean, look at the University of Miami's women's team, men's team, and Florida Atlantic still alive in a transfer
You're
portal
right.
age.
That really
And
makes
it's
sense.
tax-free.
Absolutely. Don't think that that's not a part of the discussion.
Imagine
It
it
really
is.
makes good sense.
Right? I mean, like, I think that people are looking and saying, like, I'm transferring over there.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm going down to Florida Atlantic. I mean, like, who even knew this guy, Coach May? They say if it would have went long enough, if Chris Beard would have turned the Ole Miss job down, he'd have gotten the Ole Miss job. He worked for.
Oh, that guy would have?
He worked at Ole Miss.
Oh, he did?
May, like, he was a
Okay.
part of the staff. He was somebody that was going to get looked at for that staff. All right, let's get back to this conversation. But and we can ask right here with Coach Starkey, of course, coming off of a huge win over the weekend was LSU women's against Michigan. A great performance, Coach, in front of the Raucous home crowd, 66-42. Everybody was it seemingly like a slow start for you offensively, but once the Tigers caught on, they really got going. Coach Starkey is here with us this morning. Coach, good morning. How are you?
Doing great.
Doing okay. Take me to the weekend and take me to the advantage of playing in front of your home crowd in this environment, Coach.
Well, I think about atmosphere.
Coach, we're losing you. I'm losing your audio.
Tell
I'm
him to
losing
turn
your
his
audio.
phone the long way.
I'm gonna take it. Can you turn your phone horizontal? Can you turn it horizontally?
Horizontal. Y'all are right.
How's that?
How's that, guys?
Oh,
Any
that's
better?
perfect. Thank you. Okay, can we start back over? Can we just reset? Tell me through the weekend and the advantage of playing those in front of your home crowd.
Well, obviously, anytime you play in front of a huge crowd like that, it's a major advantage, and we've had that advantage all year long. I think, to me, and I've said this a million times this year, it's been enjoyable and fascinating for me to watch how Coach Mulkey does things, and obviously for somebody who's had huge postseason success, to see how she punched buttons, dialed things back, dialed things up. It was great for me to watch how she prepares the team to play 2 games in 3 days in this type of atmosphere with so much on the line.
Michigan, I thought really early on, it was a very physical game for your squad. How do you take this quick turnaround and make sure you use the time to get them physically fresh enough to play at a high level again?
Well, the first thing he did was he gave him yesterday off. And I thought that was really important. I think you made a great comment. That was a very, very physical game. Going into the game with Michigan, that was probably our number one concern. Were we going to be tough enough to match their physicality? Because that's just that's Big Ten basketball. But we took yesterday off. We'll come back and we'll watch some film today and try and hit on some things that we need to improve upon, and then look at some specific things we need to do against Utah.
Coach, Angel Reese's performance on Sunday, I know we talk about her each time we run into one another on these interviews, but it seems like as the games get bigger, she plays and takes her game to another level.
Well, she does, and I really thought she took it to another level against Michigan because teams are, and again, I don't blame them, but they're grabbing, they're holding, they're being physical, anything to try and get out of her game. I thought the thing that I was probably most proud of with Angels, I thought she did a great job of keeping her composure when they were, pushing, shoving, grabbing. I thought she stayed within herself and continued to play her game. You look at her rebounds, you look at her points, but she guarded the Kaiser kid from Michigan who came into the game averaging about 15 points and I think held her to maybe one bucket the entire game. So she did a lot of good things for us. And when she's playing well, I think our team feels better about itself. When she's playing with confidence and making things happen, I think it's a very contagious thing.
Coach, can you give some historical reference here to at least just this campus? LSU's had some great rebounders come through here, from Sylvia Fowles to Shaquille O'Neal to everybody in between and even before that. She is almost in a class of her own in her ability of that skill of the game.
Well, not only can you talk historical in regards to LSU, but I think you're going to be able to talk historical with regards to the game of college basketball. When the numbers she's putting up rebounding wise against the competition that she's doing it against, her numbers in terms of rebounds and points were the first time since like in the last 25 years in the NCAA tournament. So she's just remarkable in what she does. She's just one of those rare players. I know Coach Malky sometimes compares her to Dennis Rodman, just a tremendous athlete that also has a great desire to rebound. So much of rebounding is desire. And most of your really good rebounders have that, but they don't necessarily maybe have the length and the athleticism that Angel has. It's just she's really, really special in that regard.
What do you know about Utah, Coach? Tough one coming up here in Greenville.
Really is very, very well coached. A team they're an outstanding offensive team. They average 85 points a game. They're going to stick 5 players on the floor that can shoot 35% or better from the three. They have a 5-player that's about 6'2", nice, strong, stocky kid that has great feet. Was the Pac-12 Player of the Year, and she's so good inside in terms of posting and sealing and finishing. But, hey, she also happens to be shooting 42% from the three. They do a great job of spreading the floor. What you're going to see is about 35 to 40% of their shots are threes, and everything else is layups. So there's not much of a mid-range game. They're going to get the three or they're going to drive it on you and get to the rim. And it presents some problems for us. We've got to do a good job of closing out and keeping the ball in front of us. And we'll spend the next couple of days trying to figure out how we're going to guard the big kid inside Pila. You can't guard her one-on-one, but you have to be careful where you come help from because the kid also passes the ball well out of the post.
I thought it was a great testimony for your game this weekend, Coach, in the way that 2 number 1 seeds were bounced and showing the parity that women's college basketball is really starting to close the gap here on the competition.
Really and truly, and you know what, we were tickled to death as one of those ones that got bounced was bounced by Ole Miss. I think our league has been underrated this whole year, and here we are with 4 teams in the Sweet 16 right now. You also had a 3 seed in Duke last night that lost to a 6 seed Colorado at home. So parity is coming to women's basketball. There's a lot more better teams, and I think it's great for the game as long as we're not the ones being upset.
Sure.
It was a great weekend. The games last night, we obviously we had a lot of attention with our staff watching Indiana lose to Miami last night. Yeah. These games are being played in front of 14 and 15,000 people, and it's just you just see growth in the game and the way it's played and the way it's being supported.
Yeah, absolutely, Coach. Coach, you can speak to this. This is the first time LSU's been back to the Sweet 16 since 2014. You've got great experience in this time of the year. How much different does it get? How much does it ratchet up when you go from the first to the second weekend?
Well, quite a bit. The key is, make it exciting and not make it pressure filled, which Kim's going to be great at. You can already tell with her comments in the locker room after the game. Make sure your kids are excited about playing and as opposed to feeling the pressure. And this should be. This should be a time where they have fun. They've earned the right to play. The key thing I think that always sometimes gets overlooked among fans is these games oftentimes are won or lost in the practices before we get there. So the thing is to keep their focus. They're so excited. They're watching games. They watched the games last night. They're on social media, which can be another distraction. It's just important that we keep them focused at practice and locked in on the things we need to do to play our game when we get to Greenville.
4:00 tip-off versus Utah this Friday, women's basketball program right now. It was a buzz in there on Sunday. It was a heck of an environment. The Maravich Center coach, Baton Rouge and Louisiana, send y'all off with the state behind y'all. Go get them. We'll talk again soon.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me.
You got it. There he is, Coach Bob Starkey, checking in this morning before a Sweet 16 visit to Greenville, South Carolina this Friday. That conversation brought to you by our friends over at City Cafe. Remember, City Cafe located on O'Neill and George O'Neill. You can get in touch with them today for great lunch specials, daily lunch specials over there, including a brunch special every Sunday morning that you can get over and try over at City Cafe. CityCafeBR.net, CityCafeBR.net, where good friends go and eat, where good friends go to meet. Check them out online and the daily menu. Tell them you heard it here on the show. Great lunch specials every single day, fresh oysters, and getting into crawfish season. Remember, if you're looking for fresh crawfish, man, they got a great selection over there. Still have the curbside pickup.
Wait, they're boiling them over there?
Oh, yeah.
You can go do crawfish?
Every year. Oh,
Ooh.
yeah. Great spot, too.
Heck yeah.
Great spot for crawfish.
And you can pick them up there, too?
You can pick them up. They still do the curbside takeaway.
Nice.
Get your blessing.
But I would recommend the in-dining experience of the crawfish because of the TVs.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it'd be a great place to watch the game. And with crawfish. What was that? What was the question over there?
Oh, but I'm saying if it gets your blessing, then I trust you because I mean the
crawfish king,
the crawfish king.
Thank you, Lord.
Cajun Culotta.
Can't wait for our next boil. We got a brand new pot.
Out of the prove it stage last year, getting a little respect this season.
A lot of respect this year.
Getting a little respect
One seed.
this season.
We gave you
a little
one
Texas A&M respect.
Yeah.
You proved it, Jordy. I mean, you blew everybody's socks off.
Thank you.
Hey, Jamar Kane wouldn't stop hanging around.
I know.
That's right. He's been texting me.
It's crawfish season.
Right. Y'all boiling or not, Coach?
We're boiling.
We're gonna let you know. Yeah, we're gonna let you know. All right, we'll be back here. We're gonna have the second hour. We'll talk more LSU football back on the practice field as they are off of spring break. We will tell you about some of the Tigers storylines here going into another week of on-the-field activities for Brian Kelly and the crew. We'll get back to the field of 16, both on the women's and the men's side. This Aaron Rodgers situation is too much, man. I mean, what is the holdup?
Yeah.
I think it's the number one. I think it's the first-round pick. I don't think that the Jets want to part ways with the first-round pick. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I mean, I really would. I mean, at this point, you don't know what you're getting out of him.
Yeah.
He's 39.
He's 39. I mean, if he's done this the past 3 off seasons, I mean, if I'm the Jets, if I'm giving up anything, I'm hoping I can get 2 years out of him, right? I mean, like if you're playing at this level right now, I can see we keep you healthy. You can play for 2 more years.
Oh, he's got
Am
more
I
than
going to have to put up with this BS next
Every
summer?
year. Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? But so I am. So I'm not giving up like that. Okay, that's a mark against you. Like I'm not. So I'm probably only going to get you for a year. Right, because next year at this time I'm going to have to hoax you back.
Maybe
he's going to go to the darkness
soap
retreat.
opera.
Yeah,
you know, wherever you go, I'm going to have to chase you down. I'm going to have to beg you to come back and do all this stuff.
He went off on Shefty, and Shefty literally tried to go to the horse's mouth to get the information, and he wouldn't text him back.
Right. I mean, like
my number.
At this point, you know what you're dealing with. With Aaron Rodgers, and if I know all of what I am getting with Aaron Rodgers, which seems like a little bit of a diva.
Why does he act like he's not?
I don't know.
But he hasn't always been. This has really just been the past 2 years
he's
at
always
Green Bay.
been.
But that he's been doing all
He's
this
been
kind
this
of shit.
guy.
I think he was very likable for a long time because of the way that he played the Favre situation. And then it's easy to hide in Green Bay.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if in the NFL, think about the personalities that were in the NFL while he's been in Green Bay.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's true.
Brady has always hovered over his career. I mean, you've had, guys like come into the league from Cam Newton to Patrick Mahomes.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like there's been a lot of people in this league that, Eli and Peyton Manning were playing while he was around. You know what I mean? There's been a lot of people. Lamar Jackson.
Brett Favre.
You know, I mean, just
allegedly.
So, I mean, he's almost been kind of, not forgotten,
Yeah.
but just kind of tucked away.
So he had to get crazy to
And
get
I
the
think
attention.
because if he's a diva, which he really is,
Yeah.
he loves attention. You know, I mean, that he kind of thought when it gets to my turn to do this, I'm going to squeeze the lemon as hard.
You're gonna get all of me.
I'm getting every ounce that I can out of it because this has almost become worse than Favre.
It really has.
He's immunized.
I mean, Favre, you know, I mean, like, you knew that what Favre's end game was. Yeah. He was coming to play football. Like, you just didn't know when he was going to announce it, like, how he was going to do it. It's just like, at this point, you're like, what's up, man?
I know.
I'm going to the Jets.
It's like, I
But
mean,
did they
like
trade
the
for
Jets
him?
are signing all these people for him. You know, I mean, like, who's that wide receiver? The Lazar?
Yeah.
Alan Lazar?
Yes.
I would put my life on it that the Jets were not in the Alan Lazar market unless they had signed, you know, unless they think they're getting Aaron Rodgers. So, like, they're doing all of this stuff for this guy.
They were shopping Randall Cobb.
You know what I
Randall
mean?
Cobb.
Yeah, like Randall Cobb.
40. Still playing in the NFL.
I got to deal with this every year on this guy. And then, like, there's potential that he may not be
what he was.
I mean, like, he was the MVP 2 years ago. You know how long
Back to
2
back.
years ago was in the NFL? 2 years ago might as well have been a decade ago.
Yeah.
I mean, you rattle off some of the players that were making plays 2 years ago. They're not in the league anymore.
Tough.
You know, I mean, the NFL it changes. It's quicksand. You know, I mean, you can't get a firm footing on it. And to deal with all of this and think that I got to give up a first-round pick. I don't care if I have a young team or not. I mean, a first-round pick is a stick of gold in the NFL.
Especially at this point.
And I got to give it up for a 38-year-old that doesn't know whether or not he really wants to be here.
They want to win a Super Bowl.
They
They can do it with Aaron
They
Rodgers.
feel like
So
they're
does San
quarterback
Francisco.
away.
They're going to do
Yeah.
what,
So
they,
does
what they
Miami.
can. Yeah.
At
You know,
what cost?
so does Buffalo.
Yeah.
So does Kansas City. You know, I mean, like,
Green Bay probably wants to.
I can't have you 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Because Mahomes is all in.
Right.
Josh Allen is all in. Joe Burrow is all in. You know what I mean? So if I'm about to give up things that mean something for my future, think about it, dude. You're not hanging out here for the future.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're just here to rent me. You know? I mean, I'm trying to buy you. You know? Like, I mean, I need to get some life out of you.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you're only 39 years old. Or is he 38
Yeah,
or
he's
39?
39.
Is he 39? I mean,
I think he just turned 39 recently.
he's not Brady.
He's been
No.
reborn though.
Like, he
has
feels
been
he's
reborn.
starting to feel old. He's starting to feel like, I
You
mean,
think so?
Well, I mean, maybe not physically like his game feels old, but he's starting to check out of football.
Well, yeah.
I mean, when Brady was 38, he acted like he was 28.
That's true.
You know, I mean, like, people were like, he ain't quitting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he's not going away. I mean, at this point, you're like, do you want to play or do you not want to play?
I know.
You know, if you're Aaron Rodgers. And to me, football is such a game that if you're not all in, it'll get you hurt. Like, it'll get you hurt if you're not engaged in football. Like, I tell Jordan all the time, bruh, do not go out there with a lot of stuff but football in your head, because if you start just kind of, you know, looking around,
Takes one.
Yeah.
you're going to get caught.
Yeah.
And you may find out, I don't like it.
Well, isn't that what Aaron's trying to do? Like, he's trying to get his head right. I mean, that was the whole darkness retreat
like,
stuff.
Come on.
But, like,
I mean,
bro.
Aaron, like, I'm with, I mean, did you see the Joey Molinaro, Howard Stern, Aaron Rodgers impression? Pull it up, Stewie.
It's so good.
It is, I'm telling you, it is
He does a
Molinaro's.
great Stern.
He really does.
His Stern is underrated.
Like, has he
as
done
maybe
Stern
his
before?
one of his top characters.
That was the first time I've heard him do it.
Me too.
I'm like, you should have been doing Stern this whole time.
I mean, it is
It rivals his Saban.
amazing. It is amazing. His Andrew Luck to me is still the best.
Yeah, it's good too.
I mean, it's unreal. It's unreal. I mean, like, but you got to be watching him.
I love how he's just doing all this just at his house.
But the
It's all random
Molinaro,
rooms.
Stern, Aaron Rodgers converse, as funny as it is, and it is like gut wrenching funny. Like, I was showing it to Kelly, and she was like, "Okay, dude, you know, like,
I get it.
we've watched it 30 times." There's a lot of realness to it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if you're Aaron Rodgers, what are you thinking about?
I know.
Like, what like, really are you thinking about? You know what I mean? Like, you got $75 million in the bank. You got, I mean, like, you can really do and have any life that you want to live.
Yeah.
If you really wanted to be private, dude, you could really be private.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people that are more popular than you are that you got no idea where they are.
Right.
You know, like what they do.
Yeah, he doesn't want
You can really check out if you want to.
$59 million, though, Coach.
In the bank.
No, that's his next
payday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
His next year's contract.
Yeah, so that darkness retreat.
Thinking about.
He said he was 90% retired before he went to the darkness retreat, and then I'd imagine that $60 million started to feel.
He was never thinking about retirement. You know why he was never thinking about retirement? Is because J.J. Watt and Tom Brady retired this season, and he's thinking 5 years down the line, I want to own Canton, Ohio. I want to be the headliner.
God.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, don't you think that this stuff goes into these people's head?
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
I mean, do you know that the vanity that these guys really experience? And, like, I mean, the J.J. Watt, Tom Brady type of, like, personal,
Oh, my God.
like, entitlement that they feel around the game of football has to be just immeasurable.
I mean, J.J. Watt put out like a 50-second video the other day thanking Taylor Swift for her concert.
It was like 4 hours long. The concert.
Yeah, but like he put out a thank you video.
I
on
tried
Twitter.
to hate J.J. Watt on the Hard Knocks in season with the Cardinals, and I ended up liking him.
Yeah.
No, he's
like
he's a
him.
football guy.
I mean, but like the
Oh,
way
the
that he,
Texans
the,
one,
the,
though,
the way
was-
that he like that was too much.
That was
That's,
tough.
that's where I started to hate him.
Well, yeah, exactly. But I mean,
doing
good
the
lord, it
late
was a
night
promo
sprints.
for the man. Yeah, this is flipping a tire.
All right,
The American Gladiator.
Somebody,
Jesus.
I mean, somebody shoot a dart at this guy.
Yeah, Russell Crowe.
Tranquilize this animal.
He had to be like, can y'all not put this out? This is
No way.
so much.
No,
yeah.
no, I think he was opposite. No, I think he's as cheesy as we think he is.
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah.
'Cause
he is.
I mean, after seeing that, I was out.
But the Cardinals Hard Knocks made me like him. He took care of the staffers. It was like, like in season, like they're celebrating like Christmas and Thanksgiving together. Like you don't think about that stuff, but I mean, like, like when the Hard Knocks in season, I watched it for the first time. I know the numbers were in the ratings were like terrible.
Yeah, I didn't watch the in-season
Nobody
version.
watches it. Nobody
They-
watches
that
it.
changes everything for me.
Because
Like,
it's
seeing
the
them
Cardinals.
like
Well, I think
that.
there's a lot more to watch in
Yeah.
season.
Pew, pew, pew.
And how much football can you really intake? I went back and like binged on it. I like hit a bender. You know what I mean? Like, I built a fire and shut it down.
8 hours later.
Yeah, right. Like, damn, I think I like Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
Like,
They're really going to
he's
fire
not
the
that
coach?
bad of a guy. Like, Sean Payton was never going to Arizona.
No.
I mean, they're a cheap franchise. You can feel that coming through the television.
Don't they make their?
They charge their players for food.
Oh, damn.
That's
tough.
sad.
So you want me to stay in shape? You want me to keep myself an athletic specimen?
But I gotta buy the food.
But I
at
gotta
Church.
buy the food that tastes like dog shit.
Look, I just came from LSU.
Yeah, right.
For 4
You
years.
know what? I'm gonna go to Chick-fil-A. Forget it.
Yeah, well, how about getting better taken care of in college?
Yeah, that's sad.
Like, imagine coming from Georgia,
Well, I
LSU.
mean, there's about
Bama.
5 or 6 programs: Clemson, Ohio State, LSU, Alabama, Georgia, probably Texas A&M,
Mhm. Probably Texas too.
Yeah, Texas, for sure.
probably Michigan. So there's probably 10.
USC.
That I don't think so. I don't think so. I think that there's a lot of that now incoming. Like Lincoln
Yeah.
Riley had to get a lot of that stuff promised to him.
Right.
Like, hey, are we going to really like engage on the like UCLA does not.
Yeah.
They can all
They do
afford to buy
not.
their own.
USC's kind of
Maybe
outdated.
Florida is coming
Florida.
on. Miami does now. They've committed with John Ruiz. That their players are living a better life than probably 70%
Would
of
you go
pro
Oregon too?
franchises. Oregon. Yeah, Oregon.
All right, so it's about 20.
No, that's 10.
That's like 10.
10. It's about, like 10,
Yeah,
10 to
the Blue Bloods.
10 to 12 that are real like elite. Like if those guys are coming into the league like looking at Cincinnati's franchise being like, y'all's plumbing is screwed up.
They don't have an
You
indoor.
know, like y'all's toilets are backed up.
I'm
Like,
practicing with the.
I mean,
showers
like,
are cold.
The toilets at LSU, I use my thumb to brush it.
Use your face.
Yeah, I mean, like
Facial recognition.
they had a
flush.
jet engine underneath the
Not a single
the
bidet
floor.
here.
They got us practicing at Cincinnati.
Yeah,
I mean, like if you're in LSU baseball, like the stories of Bregman, like getting to the Astros and him being like, "Is this what y'all fly on?"
This is all we got.
I mean, like, and then being like, "Well, yeah," and he'd be like, "Damn." I mean, like, it was a real big test case for LSU baseball of like Bregman coming back and being like, "Yo,
Enjoy it while you're
this
here.
is it.
Yeah.
Stay in school,
Like
fellas.
this is. I mean, we're about to win the World Series." You know what I mean? Like we're waiting in like in economy lines
in Hobby Airport in Houston.
Right. Checking bags.
Like, hey, that's the Houston Astros. What's up, fellas?
Hey, Braggs, I got you a seat right here. Tell me about the transition from short to third. 6-hour flight.
Been row D.
Are you a true leadoff hitter or are you a cleanup
I was
guy?
telling my buddy that you definitely should be batting leadoff.
You know, I have a podcast.
I got you on my fantasy baseball team too, bro.
How miserable would that be?
Oh my god, dude.
All right, let's play the clip. Let's go back to Aaron Rodgers.
Oh my god, we've got to play. Have you seen this, Lloyd? Have you seen this?
No, I've seen him do Stern. I haven't seen this.
This might be his best bit ever.
Aaron Rodgers. Oh yeah, coming out of the darkness. Appreciate you having me, Howard. Now, Aaron, what the fuck is a darkness retreat? I mean, what even is that? It was a 5-day retreat that I isolated myself. You're in there for 5 days? No phone, no computer, nothing, just you and your own fucking thoughts. My own thoughts, I go fucking nuts. No phone, so no porn. No. You must have some sort of imagination. Did you masturbate at least? Nobody's asked that yet. Really? And I figured you would be the first one. Is that what I mean? A darkness retreat with nothing else to do? Are you kidding me? I would yank my crank so much. I mean, that's all I would do. It would be the least I could do to keep myself from going insane. That's fair. I mean, what the fuck are you doing in there all day? 24 hours in a day. Yeah, you sleep maybe 6. I mean, how much do you have to think about? You're good looking. You're rich, probably have a big dick. You could sleep with any woman you want. And what else do you have to think about?
The microphone.
Right, seriously.
On the surface, yeah, it's easy to try and say all those things. But people forget that beyond all of that and all those things that everybody seems to crave for whatever reason in our society. But yeah, I'm a person.
He sounds just like Rod.
All right, so you come out of the darkness, whatever the fuck that means, and you have clarity. You go on Pat McAfee. You say, I want to play in New York. I want to play for the Jets. Yeah, really.
This is great what he says about New York.
And getting that clarity. I think New York is the Jets, they're the best situation for me. If somebody wants to do a darkness retreat coming to New York, I mean, all these fucking people. It'd be a nice change of pace. We'll trade places. You come to New York, and I'll go stay in a fucking cabin as long as I can bring my phone so I can watch porn. I know a guy. I'll set you up.
That's so good.
Dude, this Stern's awesome.
It's unreal.
Stern's could become unhinged, right?
Yeah.
Like he's kind of lost. He's lost his fastball a little
for
bit,
sure.
which is unfortunate.
The microphone though, and the
Oh
lag
no,
off.
that was
I
so
mean,
good.
But
so
still
good.
a legend.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
A great interviewer.
Oh,
Could get information out of people that you were just like. I remember in college, like watching the TV show on E.
On E, I was watching it when I was 10 years
He
old.
would
It
have,
ruined
like-
my brain.
I mean, he would have this was like Courtney Cox and Jennifer Aniston, like in their prime.
Yeah.
Take your
Like,
shirt off.
like they would be like, do you play with your nipples? They'd be like, well, yeah. They'd be like, oh my
Yeah.
god.
He asked anything.
Like this
to
guy is
anyone.
like getting information where you were like, this is like top secret. This is like class 5. I mean, this is classified.
Wait, he
man.
disarms you because he
Yeah,
disarms himself. He's
Right.
like, oh, I'm ugly.
Right,
You know,
yeah,
he's
right.
like, why are you talking to me?
Right.
And it's
Can't
just
believe you're here.
Yeah. And he like gets people naked on the show.
It's
and
unreal.
Like, once I saw that show, it ruined my brain, like I said, because it's
Yeah.
like, I can't believe that you can make this on television. It was on E. It was between that
No.
and Brooke Burke on what was it?
Wild
on E. And then I realized that
show.
like Private Parts, the movie, and I
Yes.
watched that and I was like, that he deserves everything he got because he was
100%.
working his ass off.
Well, and he was radio before radio was like he took radio to a whole different
He was doing his own bits.
The way that he was producing radio, the way that he knew radio could impact. I mean, that's legit. I mean, like
he made it a medium.
I could relate how I fell in love with radio was a lot like while watching the way that he got the bug for it. Like it was such an entertainment medium for him where he could paint this picture that had people following. I mean, it was the markets that he was. I mean, that's when radio was the only outlet.
Did he do his radio show before he did it on TV?
Yes.
Okay.
Like he did.
Oh,
like,
he was doing like AM.
He did like radio shows like in Detroit and Washington D.C. and New York,
but his show.
Yes.
Okay.
Like coming up and like would piss people off.
Yeah.
And
Oh, he got fired so many times.
He would have executives like. He'd lock executives out of the studio where people would try to fire him, but they couldn't get in.
They couldn't get in yet.
I mean, like it was just like 70s and 80s of radio.
Yeah.
I mean, like where radio was even still when I was like breaking through of it, it was still like trying to be prim and proper.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, like you still couldn't like. I mean, you couldn't.
You were
say
delivering
damn,
news.
You know,
Yeah.
there was things of like just the delivery of it and. He broke all of that.
Yeah.
Like he broke that down. He was the first $100 million
Sirius
employee of Sirius. Like he should have
Wow.
been. You know,
Yeah.
like he was the guy that was on the forefront. I mean, there's a lot of people that don't like him. There's a lot of people that disagree with him. But one thing that you cannot contend is what he's meant to
Absolutely.
radio. And I mean, yes, he has lost his edge. And what made him great, but at some point,
He's still a great interviewer.
That had to fade.
Yeah.
And what
can't be bringing Beetlejuice on every show.
Right. But what made him, I think, truly respected by the people was his interview style, was the way that he was able to really humanize people where, I mean, you saw a lot of people go on his show during like times of chaos in their life. Like they would be in crisis. Like think about that. Like remember like Anna Nicole Smith.
Yeah, he
like
did
Pamela
get all
Anderson.
of them, yeah.
Like people like that. Like in times that Carmen Electra. You know, like people that were not as protected by mainstream, but yet had big brands.
Yeah.
Right. Where like if it was,
But it was also controversial people.
Sure.
Yeah,
Exactly.
so
where
they
like
could tell
Howard
their
Stern was
story.
a safe place almost. You know, like where you could like, hey, unzip. And
Literally.
show the world
Yeah, tell
that
your
you are a
truth.
human being, right? And by the time that you leave here, the world will have really kind of turned on you in the sense of, you know, like sympathetic to you.
Yeah.
In this, like, that's a human being, you know? I
Right.
mean, and Stern was, I tell when people ask me for advice in radio, hey, what show you in radio? Watch Howard Stern's
You told
movie.
me that right when we started.
Watch Howard Stern's movie. I mean, it's just a great history tool for radio.
Yeah.
I mean, it shows you where it's come and really how powerful it can be.
Right.
You know, I mean, like that guy took a radio show and an idea and put it on Madison Avenue at the top floor of, you know, like the World Trade Center. I mean, like he never stopped believing in radio.
Right.
You know, like some people have a lifeline on radio. His was, there's no end to
I
this.
am radio.
Yes.
Like I can make this such a powerful weapon and such a tool. Like his story is unbelievable because there's a point to where it shouldn't have worked. You know, like how many times he kept banging on the door and kept being told no, or like, you can't do it like this. And he was like, I absolutely can and I will. Like to the point where he was locking people out of his studio and he had executives banging on the glass being like, what are you doing? It's like, I'm going to make this girl come on the internet, like on the radio. And they're like, oh my God, like you can't do this. Like, why not? And then he would get fired.
Didn't
but
he
he's
always
like,
have porn stars on his show or like working on his show? I feel
Well,
like there were a lot of
talk of sex.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
It was just,
But it was very taboo.
He pushed
Yeah.
the envelope on very taboo topics. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
like taboo things of radio where
Yeah.
people were like, you can't mention that.
Yeah.
You'd be like, mention it? We're going to have her on the air.
Yeah.
turn
You know
the
what I
bass
mean?
all the way up on that speaker.
Yes. I mean, it was.
That's what he did.
It was just stuff that you were like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But everybody was like, oh my God.
Uh-huh.
Like
You know?
pull the car over.
Yeah.
And just stay like that. That's what you could go from Stern all the way to SVP and Rosillo did that for me also, to where
Sure.
I would skip school essentially and just sit in my car and listen
Well,
to SVP and Rosillo.
Yeah.
Modern radio, and radio's probably hit its another peak of its golden age over the last 20 years. I think it peaked out like in the early times when it was the only form of getting news. But then again, it came back with really the evolution of podcast and really the boom of sports talk. I thought,
For sure.
that's just kind of me being in the forest. But I mean, you think about how many sports shows evolved and developed over the last 20 years, radio hit another, kind of a second wind in that space. And all of those shows that became popular, Lloyd referenced SVP and Rosillo for my money over the last 20 years is the best sports show that has been created and produced. You could still feel the effects of Howard Stern on shows like that. Mm-hmm. I listen to Dan Lebitard a lot. Lebitard has effects of Stern on it.
100%.
You can feel the residual effects of a guy like Stern and the influence that he had on the medium still being very prevalent within shows. If you look and listen hard enough, you'll find probably a touch of Stern on everything.
Was he the first one that put video to his radio that took his radio show and
you
could watch it?
E Entertainment did that for him. He put his radio show on television. Think about that. That's how ESPN Radio blew up.
Yeah.
ESPN Radio has been around for a long time. Dan Patrick and Keith Olbermann used to have a show. The Big Show used to exist, but nobody knew where to find it. Right? Well, ESPN started to put their shows on television, and it became very much more relatable.
Yeah.
ESPN Radio exploded.
Yeah, it changed everything.
That's really kind of when ESPN Baton Rouge came to life, was during that time period. And Howard Stern was 15 years in front of that. He was
unbelievable.
He was doing that when we were in high school.
Right.
He was doing that when we in the mid 90s.
That's what I'm saying. That's the first one I can remember doing.
It was almost like a touch of porn.
Yeah.
It was almost like you felt like you were watching something that you were, and it was on E Entertainment. You know what I mean? It was
2 a.m.
It was
Howard Stern. The next commercial would be Girls Gone Wild, and you're just
exactly.
like, I don't think I should be watching this. But I also you weren't in it for the. Not really the visuals. It was the interview.
It was the entertainment.
Yes, it was so entertaining and so, like you said, so disarming to where people were like, they probably left that show going, I can't believe I just did that.
Right.
I shouldn't have gotten that far.
Yeah.
But he was so good at being able to get you to that point where you felt so comfortable, and he looks like somebody that would never be able to get you to that point. His visual appeal isn't exactly there, but he was such a good interviewer. And people knew kind of it evolved to this thing where it became so massive that I want to be on the Stern Show. Then he had Artie Lang on there with him, and Robin was a great number two, and the whole dynamic, he built it by himself essentially. And then he was like, I'm gonna put a team together, and he just had this model that he never gave up on. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
It really is. It's a great story. It's an incredible story. And I see that some people are saying that they're not a fan. I get it. If you put
but
yourself,
you have to go back 20 years.
I still. And I got a great piece of advice when I was getting into this business. They said, and the person told me, it doesn't matter what you are, who you are, what you represent, what color you are, it doesn't matter. When you put yourself into the public, there's going to be a section of people that hate you. It comes with it. Some people will hate the way you look. Some people will hate the way that you talk. Some people will hate the way that you dress. Some people will hate the way that you just sound. It just is what it is. So anytime you put yourself on a public platform, I think that it comes with the notion, or it has to be developed. Somebody like Katie didn't know that. You know what I mean? She stepped into a new world and just kind of thought, yeah, everybody likes the show, right?
Go to TigerDroppings.com.
That sweater's doing nothing for your figure. Okay.
You open yourself up to the public. Hey, how are you? Not good. F you. This
need a darkness retreat.
That's how it is.
Exactly.
But Stern was great at that. He was fantastic at that.
He was. Love him or hate him, he was still extremely successful at
Trailblazer.
Yeah, without question. All right, remember Daily, we're brought to you by Katie's Restaurant. Katie's is located in New Orleans, the heart of New Orleans. You can stop in and see them, as they are a neighborhood restaurant for the entire city, located down on Iberville Street, 3701 Iberville Street, and online, katiesinmidcity.com, katiesinmidcity.com. They've got a sister restaurant, Katie's, which is Francesca's by Katie's, which is down in Lakeview. Stop in and see them over at Katie's. katiesinmidcity.com, katiesinmidcity.com, a neighborhood restaurant for the entire city down there with our friends in New Orleans. Great style of pizza, St. Louis style pizza, and a great menu selection to choose from from our friends over at Katie's. Katie'sInMidCity.com. We'll be back with more of the show here, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet Live here on this Tuesday. Donaldsonville Glass and Body, the trusted name in frame, body, and automotive paint repair since 1977. They have served their customers for over 45 years. You can find them online at dgbauto.com or stop in and see them Railroad Avenue and Division Street out in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Look, they can help you with your insurance claims. They can make the repair process as stress-free as possible. I'm speaking from experience here. I've got numerous windshields, body repair, all done by Kenny and the crew over at Donaldsonville Glass and Body. They are, without question, the most well-equipped shop in the area. Stop in and see them today. Shop them online, dgbauto.com, or stop in and see the crew over in Division Street in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Donaldsonville Glass and Body. Hey fellas, it's Jordy Culotta for my friends over at Men's Total Health. Guys, do you suffer from fatigue, decreased libido, erectile dysfunction, weight gain or loss of muscle mass, signs of depression, anxiety, hair loss, mental fog, general loss of interest? Then you might be suffering from low testosterone. Go see my friend Mike Roach and his great team over at Men's Total Health, over in Metairie at menstotalhealth.net online. And stop in and see how they can change your life today. A simple shot and some knowledge from Mike Roach can get you back up, moving with your energy, get your sex drive back, build your muscle mass, make you feel young again. All online, menstotalhealth.net. Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz.
The Jordy Culotta Show is brought to you by A-Bears Lawn Maintenance. Commercial or residential, A-Bears Lawn Maintenance is ready to work. A-Bears can tackle all your homeowners association requirements. Call Blake at 225-485-8022. A-Bears Lawn Maintenance.
Get Gordon and get it done. Get Gordon and get it done. Corrects done. Personal injury done. Workers' comp done. Truck wrecks done. Get Gordon and get it done. Get Gordon and get it done.
Hey Baton Rouge, when traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, whether you need to fill up your vehicle or your belly, stop by Go-Mart and On The Go Deli. Go-Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you might need on your trip. So stop by Go-Mart at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left, and visit Tom and Wright Granning and their awesome team at Go-Mart.
Are you looking for sound financial advice? Then get in touch with Daniel Newman of Edward Jones. You can call him today at 225-261-8262 or email him daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. If you're planning for retirement, saving for college for children or grandchildren, or just looking for sound investment opportunities, get in touch with Daniel today, 225-261-8262, located on Magnolia Square Drive in Central. Daniel Newman of Edward Jones.
Don't let the name fool you. Men's Total Health has offerings for the ladies, too. Guys, is your wife or partner suffering from urinary incontinence, low sexual desire, or pain during sex? Then the O-Shot might be for her. Don't let it scare you. It's totally natural. It's PRP. And Mike Roach and the crew at Men's Total Health will make you as comfortable as you can be. Contact me for more information, Katie at JordyCulottaShow.com, and I'm happy to tell you everything that Men's Total Health has to offer for the ladies.
Fourier Insurance Agency, established in 1946, locally can help you with any of your home, auto, commercial, contractors, life and health insurance today. Give them a call, 225-383-0682, or log online to FourierAgency.com.
Hey, she's on her way up.
Hey, G, I got you something.
Hey, Coach. What do you think? Is this too much?
If you look good, you play good.
All right, then. Let's get it done.
All right, welcome back here to a Tuesday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, as we are brought to you daily by RMB. LSU football back on the field today here for spring drills, as the Tigers had last week off dealing with some spring break, and now back here for the workouts as LSU is picking up and getting ready for another week here. We talked a lot about the storylines last week of the competition and some of the spots to watch, you know, some of the players that you're without, and some of the opportunities that guys have this upcoming offseason. One of the guys that I think is, you know, will maybe not overlook, but may get lost in just some of the discussions that we have because of so much more competitive races that we're watching, and other big names at other positions like offensive line and wide receiver and, you know, obviously even quarterback. But how about the opportunity that Trey Holly has here in this spring? You talk about a position now at running back that has been, you know, very much vulnerable over the last couple of years. LSU has really made their program on a couple of principles, right? Of a couple of things that you know you could count on, some things that the pillars of LSU's football program that you could always feel like, hey, you could blindfold me and keep me away for a couple of years and then bring me back. And the one thing that I would guarantee was that LSU was going to have a pretty good defense, was going to have a salty defense and be athletic, and that they were going to have a running back that they could turn around and just hand it to, right? Because since I've been a kid, they've had that person. You know, from Harvey Williams to Kevin Falk to Keelan Williams to Dominic Davis to LeBrandon Toefield to Leonard Fournette to Darius Geis to I mean, hey, we can debate off the field character all day long, but the fact of the matter was when they were in between the lines, you fed the beast.
You knew number 5 was going to play.
I mean, Cecil Collins, Rondell Mealy,
Justin Vincent.
You know, I mean, there's been. Guy, Ali Broussard.
Dominic Davis.
Joseph Adai.
Stephen Ridley.
Jacob Hester.
Just keep them going.
How long did this go on?
Where are we at? Who's next?
Where we start?
Trey
Harvey
Holly.
Williams. There's always been a running back that LSU could count on that could make a play for them, right? There's always been that bell. Now it's changed a little bit, right? The identity of the offense now has been more spotlight turned towards quarterback, wide receiver, and the running back as more of a specialty type player where you can get a group of players to attack certain areas of the game. You got a guy that you can run in between the tackles. You got a guy that you can run outside. You got a guy that you can use in the screen game. You've got a guys that you trust more in blocking schemes. There's just there's different skill sets to the position now that there's rarely do you get the Leonard Fournette anymore, who you just 3 down, pound, get outside, pound, get into the screen game, whatever it is. You can keep him out there for 3 downs. Cordell says Michael Ford, Spencer Ware, Jeremy Hill, 3 good ones.
Kenny Hilliard.
Terrence McGee.
Damn. You got me with that one.
I mean, can you blame Les for running the ball 50 times a game?
Yes, I can. Yes. I
can indeed.
You mean to rattle off the wide receivers during that time?
Jesus.
Yeah.
But the running back spot has changed, right? And particularly at LSU. Think back the last couple of years on who that player has been. It's been a rotating door. It's been a rotating name. It's been a rotating face of characters of guys that have come through that have, made their way. Here specifically this season, I think you kind of line up with the same one set, right? Josh Williams feels like the guy that is the most trusted. Armani Goodwin feels like the guy with the biggest hope. I think that they're hoping that Armani Goodwin can stay healthy for an extended amount of time because he may end up being the guy that they put out there the most. Josh Williams would be, right there in the mix, and then you're talking about a couple of freshmen in Caleb Jackson and Trey Holly that are getting some opportunity. You put John Emery into the mix at some point, and you figure whatever you get out of him is kind of gravy at this point in his career. Is
he practicing?
No practice room.
But
game time only.
Better be practicing school.
Yeah, that's it. Just get that done, man. But
office hours.
You think about what's going on here with the spring now. You just mentioned John Emery's out due to some academic concerns and taking care of his books. Josh Williams has been dealing with an injury, and he's been as close as anybody of getting back. And whether or not he's back at some point is still yet to be determined. But Armani Goodwin's out for the remainder of spring. He's not going to go through the drills. He's still rehabbing. And Jackson's still at Liberty, graduating, not on campus. The one person that is in Baton Rouge, fully healthy, taking part in all the drills, getting all the reps, getting all of the coaching, learning all of the installation is North Louisiana native Trey Holly, who got down here at spring and is, being fed through a fire hose right now. He's drinking out of a fire hose. It's coming at him a million miles an hour. He's getting run over by defensive ends. He's out of position in blocking schemes. He's not where he's supposed to be the majority of the time. But, as he gets his ass handed to him by Frank Wilson, he's also learning that I can't screw this up the next time. And the beautiful thing about Trey Holly is that at this point, there's nobody behind him. So if you screwed up on first down, well, hell, you got to get back out there on second down and figure it out. So for Holly, I don't think that you have this major expectation that he's going to be the leading ball carrier or yardage gainer against Florida State. But the reps that he's getting right now are very much kind of off the radar from people expecting, spring storylines and things to take place at this part of the year that, I think is definitely a kind of an effect of where they are. And Holly will pay a lot of dividends from this. I think that he'll experience a lot of success from, what he's learning right now. The leg up that he will have come fall of getting these reps and learning Denbrock's offense and learning how he wants, or Frank Wilson wants him to line up on certain packages and, beginning to learn terminology and blocking schemes and all of that stuff. Not only that, just kind of learning how to navigate campus. And that's a huge stressor for a freshman coming in from a different place in a small town where, you're not used to a big campus and, having to walk and find your way around the quad. It's a big advantage for Trey Holly to be here right now, and the reps that he's getting, the knowledge that he is soaking up, and the experience of being out there, it can't be replicated. It cannot be. It can't be taken for granted. That's a great opportunity for Holly, and I know that he's being told that and that he understands that. But just kind of a story that we may not really touch on or talk about a lot, but it's definitely there, is the amount of reps that Trey Holly has been able to get here in his first spring practice.
We didn't mention Noah Kane.
Didn't even mention Noah Kane.
Tough. Unforgotten.
But Kane is, like you talk about roles, Kane's kind of an inside the tackle type guy. Put your head down, get you a
goal line
type, short yardage situation. He's, the running back room has gone from a area of high concern to, depending on how these freshmen develop, to a pretty healthy position. I think Goodwin will be ready to play in the fall, and I think Josh Williams will obviously be ready to play in the fall. Noah Kane is there. We mentioned John Emery. Whatever you can get from him would, kind of just be considered extra at this point. And then, you got Jackson coming in from Liberty, and you got Trey Holly, the state's all-time leading rusher, and, already on campus. I think that, just from a numbers standpoint alone, you're in a much better position, but you've also got you got guys that you really trust. You got guys that, they really trust Josh Williams. I think they really trust Armani Goodwin. Pending him being healthy. And I think Noah Kane at the end of the season showed that they really started to value the things that he brought to the table. I don't think that Kane was playing so much out of a necessity standpoint. I think that he was out there because he gave him some good stuff. He was able to run the ball and be tough to tackle, and he was the best blocker that they had. And if you're going to be a predominantly throwing team, or you're going to try to run spread, you got to have somebody back there that can help protect.
That's JoshWilliams.com.
That's him.
If you have to pick one that you would see back in the backfield for game one, it's Josh Williams' job to lose, right?
I would think so. I think depending on how Armani Goodwin, his offseason goes, and then he's got to be healthy in fall camp to put up a real stiff competition. But I think it's a combination of Josh Williams and Armani Goodwin, and obviously I think Noah Kane's going to play a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to play a ton
because it was Armani's job. It felt like it was, if he doesn't get injured, he was kind of snatching that job away from everybody. It seemed like he was becoming the featured back last year.
Yes,
and then he gets hurt, and then you see the kind of cascade of a cast of characters that come in. You see Emery. Every time he touched it, he's trying to score. Then you see Josh Williams just kind of be so steady that they couldn't take him out because and it goes back to what you said with pass protection. And if that's what you're getting with him every time he's on the field.
Yeah, without question. I know, and I think that's what the coaches want.
Yeah,
they want to know.
Emery's kind of mercurial,
hit or miss, and he's also
about to get this thing and jump over somebody.
I want to say through the first 7 games, John Emery was the only guy that had fumbled.
Yeah,
it was like they had a certain amount of fumbles for the majority of the season, And all of them were from
It was
Emory.
Auburn. It was the first game. It was the first fumble they had all
And then
season.
he fumbled again later in the year. I mean, it was, it's just, that is the stuff that
frustrating.
You can hit home runs all day, man.
But what time are you striking out?
But yeah, I mean, like your strikeouts are bad. I mean, they're just.
It makes me sad. I love John Emery.
So do I.
I know.
I mean,
I'm a hurdle you.
I just want him to
I'm about
do well.
to do everything I can to cross
Get in
that
that
line.
end zone. 1st and 10. Not to me. 4th and 40. But that'd be you're in a great spot in the backfield. It feels like the skill positions are there. Obviously, I mean, people are asking in the chat when the spring game is, and they haven't announced a date yet.
I
Still.
think it's April 22nd.
Yeah, I thought they did.
Yeah, I think they did.
Yeah, April 22nd.
It says TBD on the website.
Oh. Yeah,
But I could be wrong.
I'm saying
I think they're still trying to get out of
Stewie
it.
saying it.
Wait, they're saying, can you do that?
Something
well,
like that.
I don't think that you can legally, like from the conference standpoint, but I think that they're trying to claim that they don't have enough players. Like they can't medically pull it off.
I mean,
Oh.
Brian Ed did this thing with 39, Coach. We got to.
Shit. I got to call Racing McMath again?
And I think they want to kind of keep a lot of things. I don't think that they want to show off.
Really? You think that's really what it?
I think that, I mean, football coaches by nature
Yeah.
are the most paranoid,
Yeah.
protective people I've ever met in my life.
Yeah. Look at O.
Oh,
Coaches.
God.
I mean, really in general.
Well, that was an open book.
Yeah, I don't know if that would be a good example.
Yeah.
I would point
He'll tell you
I would
anything.
point
No, I
towards-
meant where he would keep people out.
I would
like,
point
keep the
towards
media
Les,
out.
yes. For
Not
sure.
wearing drawers right
For
now.
sure, For sure.
You want to see?
Yeah, right.
He has things to protect.
Right.
And I guess they don't want to. I don't know if there's like a quarterback controversy, but I don't know how much you can get with.
Well, and I
I
think
mean, you
that's-
saw the spring game last year. What Jaden showed off wasn't really.
That's part
He
of
can't
it.
show his game.
I think they don't want to, kind of tip their hand.
Fan the flame.
It's maybe a little closer than people
Want it to
think,
be.
or it may not be at that point.
He was working out with Caleb Stroud and
C.J. Stroud, and Bryce Young.
and Bryce Young. Yeah. I
Jaden
don't know. I
was.
keep doing that.
I don't know.
But yeah, putting work in with two guys that are pretty good throwers of the football.
It's that Cali QB connection right
Yeah.
Pretty
there.
good throwers of the football.
Yeah, they are pretty
what they
good
wanna
throwers
see
of the
from
football.
JD.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude, he's doing all the right things.
Absolutely.
He knows what's on the line for him. I mean, I don't think it's as if you're not going to get his best effort. I mean, he knows what's going on. He knows what's on the line, and he knows what's at stake. I think that, I really think that he's more the reason that Walker Howard left
Absolutely.
than Garrett Nussmeier was. I mean, I think that Howard looked at Daniels and thought, this thing may be locked up more than I thought it was.
I thought this was just for a year.
I thought this was going to be a year.
Everybody thought
and then it was going to be wide open, and I was going to have a chance.
Now he's back.
I mean, people didn't even know if he was going to be eligible for this year when you talk about Jaden Daniels. Like, does he have another year? And then you get into the COVID
that's
conversation, and it's like, yeah, he's got another year. If he wants to come back, he can. They're like, no, he can't. Yeah, he can. And here he is. And so back to do you remember Mettenberger? He's got 2 to play 2. And people are like, wait, what? He transferred from Georgia. How many years can he play here?
What does that mean?
Oh, God, it was on Tiger Droppings forever. Who
So
can
he-
come back?
Wait, he was already redshirted?
See, this is exactly what happened. You know,
No, this is because I thought because he got here in 11.
right.
did.
And he redshirted that year.
But he
But
played
but
12.
He redshirted that year?
Right? No, he could have played in the national
That's what I'm
championship.
saying.
Yeah,
That's
so he
what I'm saying.
redshirted, I guess, because he didn't play. So I guess
Yeah, I guess he was deemed a redshirt, but
because that was before the 4. Like
but
the,
he
the
only
rule that
played
said-
1 year at Georgia. Did he play in a JUCO?
Yeah, I think he did.
And that's what he's got 2 to play 2, or does he have 1 to play, or does he have 2 to play 1? And it was just like I don't know. He's gonna play
Because they should have played him in the Natty.
absolutely.
They should have played him. I mean, really.
God, that was a miserable experience. Miserable. We were watching it in New Orleans, and we were at Lucy's, and we just said after the first set, like I'm going
It's
to
over.
the hotel.
I mean, people forget in the fourth quarter you still had a chance. For as bad as it was, you still had a chance.
Get across that 50, coach. Anything can happen.
Still the best troll I've ever seen.
Was Jordan Jefferson breaking that man's leg?
No, it was LSU played Alabama in basketball. That game was on a Monday night.
I remember this.
LSU played Alabama in basketball on Wednesday
Really?
in Tuscaloosa, and LSU won the tip. And when they crossed half court, the student section gave them a
Standing
standing
ovation.
ovation.
It was.
Okay, that's good.
Never forget.
That's good.
That was a great one.
That's good.
That was a great
Yeah,
one.
that's top tier trolling right
That was a great one.
I didn't know that.
Basketball team was like, "What's going on?"
And that was like
exactly.
Seriously, that was like Trent Johnson. Like nobody. It was bad.
Bad.
It was bad.
We're horrible, so
it was
hey,
bad.
Get the tuba.
We might not cross half
I think
court.
the tuba was on that team.
I think so too.
Oh,
the tuba team.
I think that was the tuba team.
Oh God.
All right, hit
Dark
that like
days,
button.
good
It was
Lord.
dark.
Yeah.
Like button, share, but that was it for Les that night.
Yeah.
It was over.
But it wasn't.
Yeah, but it was over until it wasn't.
But that's when it got really
3 more
bad.
years of this.
That's when it got really bad.
If
No,
he
it was
beat-
more than that.
It was what?
No,
5.
it was 2012, and they fired him in 16. He had
So
4 more
That's
years.
fine, yeah.
Y'all got 4 more years of toss dive. Get ready.
And he almost beat Auburn.
Yeah, he did.
He did.
The clock was
Until he
fired.
didn't.
They were out of bounds. He was like throwing his headset. Thought he won.
They couldn't get the snap
that's
off,
so
and Danny
cringy.
Etling finds who do you find in the
DJ
back?
Chark.
DJ
Chark.
Chark in the back of the end zone. I was watching that game. I was working for Northwestern State. I was on the sidelines, and
That
I
was
was
a
just
Les
watching
Miles special.
And I was watching it on my phone. And I was like, "Oh my God, they won!" I was like, "I don't even want them to win.
No,
I
you
really
didn't.
don't. I can't do
I'm
this.
telling you.
I can't do this anymore."
There's so many times that they won, and you're like,
Fuck.
you're so like emotional, like yeah. And you're like, sit down. You're like,
Les
I wish
Miles
they would've
still
won
our
that game.
coach.
Once that happened and they reviewed it, it was over. It's like,
yeah,
it's finally over. It feels over.
leave him there.
Leave him.
Leave him
Thank
at all.
God.
Like the A&M game 2015. It's like, all right,
Oh,
carrying them off the field.
they scored what 17 points,
20 to 7, I think the score was.
and people were ecstatic. Carried him off the field.
Ugh.
Swan
Dude.
song.
Good time.
Bring it back.
The worst press conference. I mean, the worst, best press conference I've ever seen. I mean, like, people were, like, looking around. I mean, like, for people like Jacques and like, this is their Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
You know, like, they're like, what's going on? I'm like, dude, it's a it is a coup. Like, this is some Louisiana politics.com. Like, what you saw in the movies is playing out right in front of our face. Like, the governor is on the phone with the chancellor right now. The chancellor's calling the AD to go have a press conference
already
and tell
fired
him that the football coach's life has been saved.
CPR.
I
on this
mean,
man.
like, everybody's going down there thinking that Joe Oliva is about to announce that Jimbo Fisher is the next head coach. And Oliva's down there now clarifying that Les Miles will continue to be. It was a debacle. It was
of massive.
It was the worst piece of public relations that had been started by the subject. I mean, it was a test case on how not to handle PR. It is still one of the fascinating scenes that I mean, like, in the guts of Tiger Stadium. I mean, the governor is on the phone.
Oh,
I mean, like, it was the president of the university is like walking around with like he was frantic. Oliva's like the blood is like rushed away from Oliva thinks he's getting fired. You can tell, like Oliva thought, like,
it's
over.
over.
All these people are like telling me how to do my job, like, I'm probably in trouble.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm probably screwed.
Done too.
Right.
Unless I bring him back.
When all he really did was I bang on Oliva, and Oliva was a moron. Oliva was as dumb of a person that's ever come through here, and as lucky.
And he was so smug about it.
Yeah, he was so arrogant.
Mm-hmm.
He was so smug, and he was so underqualified. You know, I mean, I think that the story goes, like, when he got the call that he got the job after Skip, like, they were like, "You got the job?" He was like, "I did."
Have y'all heard of Duke Lacrosse?
Say what? Like, how?
Didn't think
Like,
I was getting
I
that,
don't
but
know.
hey.
Like, they should have hired Herb Vincent, who's now
no.
Greg Sankey's top aide, but they passed on Herb and they give it to Oliva, and it really kind of went through a decade of just terrible leadership, horrible leadership. But the only time he really did his job, the only time he like set out to say, "I'm going to try and improve LSU, and I'm going to do it my way," was when he tried to get rid of Les, because him and Les hated each other. Like, they hated one another. It was a battle of the dumb. You know what I mean? When they got into the room, it was just like, "I'm dumber than you. No, I'm dumber than you. I'm going to prove it today. Watch."
I'm the biggest dummy.
I
in
mean,
this
it
room.
was just, I'm going to wear my hat like this. Well, I'm not going to ride a hat. I'm going to wear my biking helmet like this around camp. Joe Oliva would get on his bike at like 11 o'clock in the morning in like a full, like,
suit?
Tights.
No.
Like
Lance
like
Armstrong?
a bike gear.
Like a Tour de France
like with the
thing?
cleats.
You're kidding.
God.
Like one of those aerodynamic.
No, he was serious.
Bike helmet. No, Katie, this is like 11 o'clock in the day.
Why?
Riding around campus. Like people would be like, we've got a SEC teleconference. Where's Oliva? They're like, he's on South Stadium working on the hill.
He's aerodynamic right now.
Like,
Guys got work to do.
I mean, people used to pass by his house at the university club and like send pictures. He had no pool and he had no fence, but he would be laying in his backyard on like a piece of like backyard furniture, no shirt, and like khaki shorts like rolled up.
Oh yeah.
I need to see
and like
a photo
people
of
would
this.
like be on the tee box like and Kay, this is like Thursday at 2:00.
Oh my god.
Like people would be like,
some people are working.
what the hell's this guy doing?
Like
man?
covered in Crisco.
Like I mean like
Oh my god.
Cucumbers on the
like
eyes.
straight back.
What?
Like the sun, like the fucking
That sunscreen on his
no,
nose.
the little goggles,
Little tanning goggles.
the tanning goggles,
Little eye holes.
the little tanning goggles. I mean, like it was unreal,
debacle.
man.
This
No,
guy.
I did not
Unreal.
know
It
that.
was unreal.
How strange.
This guy.
I mean, when he walked into that Vanderbilt game that night, he suspended Will Wade, and the entire Maravich Center wanted his head.
Oh yeah.
It was like the Coliseum.
Wanted his head. Like they wanted him.
Like burn him at the stake.
Like they stood up
Yeah.
and were pointing at him.
Yeah.
Like he looked at somebody was with him and it got back. Like he was like shocked. Like he was like, what are they so mad about? And they were like, what the fuck do you mean, dude? What do you mean? What are they so mad about? Like you just run the guy off who won the SEC in his first year, in his second year, and like you're like claiming like I don't know why.
I mean, who escorted him out of there?
No,
At
he said no.
halftime-
He
no.
doubled down. He sat down and was like,
Yeah, he sat. When he looked at, he said, because I asked him about, I was like, dude, after it was done, I was like, dude, what were you doing? He said, I looked at F. King Alexander, who was sitting on the other side, and gave him like, I told you so, is what he said I was doing. Like, I told you so.
they hate me.
Like, I told you, like, we should have kept him, is what he said he was saying. Like to F.
It
King.
gives
Like,
me
terrible
chills.
visual.
Telling,
It
like,
gives me chills.
and then, like, at halftime, he went into the tunnel.
Yeah.
Like, nobody would watch the game. Nobody. I'm telling you, they were like, F you,
Yeah.
Joe.
Yeah.
F you, Joe.
The student section had signs made.
remember
Every
that.
time they would play it, like the band was instructed to start a song to drown them out. They couldn't do it because they were doing it during the game.
Yeah.
You know, like while play is going on, the band can't play. So like the student section, while the game is happening, I was sitting with Randy Lanois. If Randy Lanois is in the chat, Randy Lanois was like nervous.
Yeah,
He
I'm
was
with
like
you, too.
noticeably, he was like, this is uncomfortable. He was like, this is getting out of control. Like, I mean, it was mayhem. It was borderline. Like, I mean, it's still to this day, it's the wildest LSU sports scene I've ever seen. It's like before we got there 20 minutes before the game and it was already bubbling over. Like people were kind of like, and he tried to sneak in there and people were waiting on him.
Yeah, they were.
He came in late, didn't he?
He tried to like sneak in after the game. And when he walked in, people just
Like after it started.
boo, like pointing at him, like the boos.
Pedo.
It was as if like Alabama had walked in.
Yeah.
I mean, like it was like, oh my God, they want this guy. Like, I mean, you could tell like the people that were like sitting by him, you know, I mean, they were kind of like,
Oh my god.
Why didn't he go to like the booth? Why didn't he go?
there's
know.
nowhere to go in there. There's no suites. There's no.
Oh yeah, that's true.
You
That's
have
true.
to
Nowhere to go
sit.
in there.
Like, that's the deal. Like, that's why he went into the tunnel. He went where LSU runs out. He kind of, like, tucked back
Yeah.
in there and stood against the wall. But him and Panamsky were tight at that time. And I remember Derek walking down there and
Pulled his hamstring.
just kind of being like, he came back up and being like, dude,
This is bad.
this is bad. Like,
Yeah.
This is dangerous.
this
guy DP.
is a situation.
Yeah.
Like, they're in a spot.
Yeah, for
you
real.
know, I mean, And it was just purely because of their incompetence. It really was. I mean, I'm not trying to bang and pile on, but their whole situation, their whole time at LSU, Les Miles, F. King Alexander, and Joe Oliva is soaked. I mean, like clouded in just stupidity.
And it felt like we were
Really?
never going to get out of it.
Ever. I mean, because there was, like, in the middle of it, like the national championship game, like 12, 13, 14, it was as if you were like, this is the abyss. You're never going to get out of it. You're never going to be able to get, because they had so much money tied up in these guys. They had, you know, the wrong people in leadership that believed in them. They were giving them these, like, you know, like these bodes of affirmation, like, keep doing what you're doing. I mean, it was.
We're extending Les Miles, which is letting y'all know.
And then you had, and that was the funniest thing about it. There's so many people that were in his corner. It's like he wins 10 games a year.
there
It's
were.
like,
Real.
look at it.
And
it's
and
Iowa.
Now you step back and people realize what happened. That was his best friend. That was the Arkansas athletics director at the time. It is the guy who hired him at Kansas.
Really?
Was the AD. Jeff Long was his name. They went to Michigan together, and they've been buddies ever since. The only job that was being offered to Les Miles after the 2010 season was the Arkansas job. That was it. Now, mind you, this is after Les has flubbed the clock.
Right.
Like no college football coach has ever done twice.
Yeah.
He had done it twice at this point. He had the Ole Miss and the Tennessee game has already happened. And Joe Oliva is dumb. Not like, all you got to do is like make a call to like, hey, does Jeff Long and Les Miles know each other? Like, Joe, do they know each other, bro? Like,
They're homies.
Frat buddies.
Yeah.
Like, they're trying to dupe you, man. Like, they're trying to like get one over on you.
And
like,
people didn't realize this at the time?
Oh, we all did.
everybody did, except for Joe Oliva and F. King Alexander.
And it was his job to know that.
And they shuffled this contract in front of Les. And like, you know, like everybody's thinking like, well, there's nobody else is at offer. It's only Arkansas. It's because Jeff Long's doing him a favor. And Oliva jumps. Oliva bites. Oliva gives him that stupid ass contract that tied him here until 2016 and ultimately gave him $50 million is what Les, like, I think he walked away with like $35 million in that contract, but he had made like 12 before.
Right.
Ultimately, Les Miles walks away from the state of Louisiana with $50 million. I mean, he had a ski mask and a gun to the head
He didn't even need the ski
of
mask.
the treasurer.
He did
I mean, like he robbed the place. And he only did it because Joe Oliva didn't have the wherewithal to be like, yo, I'm not falling for that. Like, if you want the Arkansas job, or hey, Arkansas, if you want to pay him that, be my guest. Do us a favor and get me off the hook of this moron that I don't even like. Like, I mean, if you're Joe Oliva, like, they were doing you a...
Jesus, I didn't know that.
Like,
That's
putting on a silver
bizarre.
platter.
Oh.
So then they hire Bobby Petrino. Les Miles gets maybe the dumbest contract in LSU history, only to be backed by Orgeron's extension, which was done by Scott Woodward. I bang on Woodward. He doesn't miss on that. That's probably Woodward's worst decision outside of the Wade decision. And LSU stuck with Les that what felt like into perpetuity. I mean, like you were like, I don't know how you're going to get out of this. Meanwhile, Alabama's hiring, Saban's getting extensions. I mean, like, it's just like the LSU is screwed.
My God.
Man.
I mean, you can go back even farther to when, was it Herb Street that reported that he was going to Michigan before the LSU SEC championship?
Yeah, but like that was before the damage was done.
Right.
Like
but I'm saying you had a second chance. You had the chance before that to get rid of him. Yeah.
That was Skip. And Skip wasn't ever getting rid of him because Skip could control him.
Yeah.
Well, and they're about to win a national championship.
Right. I mean, and, you know, Skip had just gotten taken through the ringer by Saban.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like, and I think Skip pledged, like, I will never bring in a bigger personality than me. Like, nobody will ever demand the room. Like, Saban stole the spotlight from me. I mean, Skip's coming off of 5 natties.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like, You know what I mean? Like, everybody's kind of like booing Skip to get to Nick. You know, like 3 years later, Skip's like, what the hell's going on? I literally walked on water here for 20 years. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Am I paying for this?
Right. We're hiring less.
Yeah.
And we're
Watch
never
this.
losing less. As long as I'm here. You know? So, I mean, if he'd have fallen for the Herb Street trick, that would have been the best case
that's some
scenario.
crooked
Yeah.
stuff.
I mean, I don't know who they'd have hired, but you'd have not dealt with just the
Is that
pure
2007?
stupidity. Yeah, it was an SEC title game.
Jeez. That's a lot.
Yeah, it's still a fresh wound.
Yeah,
It is.
that's a lot.
It's very much.
Well, I mean,
so
you just
fresh
got
one.
taken.
Yeah.
The state of Louisiana got
Right.
taken by
It's embarrassing.
a bunch of morons. Like, really. Like, you got Joe Oliva in here, like handing out money like it's, you know, Tic Tacs to guys that, you know, can't even complete a sentence. Really. I mean, the guy, he was the worst representative of LSU football that you could have imagined. I mean, like, people, he was a family man. Don't be so dumb.
How fucking easy.
I mean, like, the guy was pinching interns' asses in 2008.
And you technically could have gotten rid of Les and brought Nick back.
Yes. There was a small window
What would that have
at
been
Miami when Terry Saban called Skip Bertman and said, bring us back. We want to come home. We want our job
I
back.
miss Terry.
And Skip couldn't wait to tell him no. You know what I mean? Like,
No, you see, Nick, we gotta stick with the
you
guy.
know about commitment there, Nick, and we're committed.
We got our
You
guy.
can't just cut and run on us like that.
But
So many Skips in the room.
there's your Tuesday. Fuck Les Miles.
Man,
Yeah.
that just leaves
Yeah.
What do
me
you
like,
think? What's he doing?
You know what?
We tried to
I hate to
figure
do
that
this
out.
because I have caught wind that I don't think I think that he's.
he has dementia. We
I think
talked
his health
about this
is
last week.
not.
Who, Les?
I think
Yeah.
his health is not.
Damn.
And we talked
I mean,
about
there's
it
a
even
reason why
going-
you haven't heard from him. I
Well-
mean, for look, and I get the reasons why that we all think. I mean, all of the stuff that has come out, but Les, let me remind everyone, loves the spotlight more than just about anybody. That guy was all about Les Miles. I mean, he could not get enough of. He was the one that said, "Shouldn't we do lesmiles.net?" Remember that
I mean,
website?
Coach.
Yeah, I can't get away from it. Tyrann Mathieu.
All the highlights are on lesmiles.net, Coach.
Lesmiles.net. I mean, like, nobody at the time stood up and was like, yo,
You know this is LSU, right?
dumbass. This is LSU football. The brand's been around for like 100 years before you got here, and gonna be around for like 1,000 more after you leave.
You had to use lesmiles.net to sign up for like LSU football.
It was
camps.
unreal.
No.
I'm
Like,
telling you.
to go to games as
he
a
had
recruit,
a 2 or 3
everything.
year hook on the place that you were like, who's he got the
So many
pictures
good
on?
Yeah,
highlights,
right.
too.
What's going on here?
Right.
Who does this guy have the material on? Who's he got the info on? Because he is allowed to get away with way too much. He makes way too much money. What he does is not questioned. How in the hell is this happening? This is LSU.
Lesmiles.net.
You know what I mean? If you want to seal an envelope at LSU, you got to go through 6
Exactly.
degrees. I mean, this he's able to ride around campus on a company-issued car with
Running
an
red
intern,
lights.
shoving his tongue down people's throats at 1 o'clock in the morning on campus, and nobody says anything? Like, what's the deal?
Yeah.
How's this happening? I mean, it was just weird.
Yeah, that's some weird stuff.
LesMiles.net's up for, you can buy it if you want.
Fuck.
But we did realize he might have had like early onset before he left here, right?
I would say
We
long
looked back
before he
at
left.
Yeah, some of those
I mean,
interviews.
those press conferences.
Yeah.
Just go to 2005.
Yeah.
I mean, like his opening press conference, his sideline
Yeah, that's
report.
kinda tough.
I mean, it was just like, how do you allow this guy to represent you?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I didn't know he was. I mean, I guess it makes sense.
You just fall in the hole, man.
Oh, the people love a Les rant though, Jordy.
I
Give
do
the
too.
people what they want.
Same.
It's very
Cody
therapeutic.
Boudreaux's paying for
It
it.
gives me so much therapy because
It
like
is very therapeutic because there's still so much anger that I
this
have.
was
Clearly.
this was high school for
I
me.
mean,
It
so
really
got
is.
like red.
I
the
mean, I can
face.
remember being like,
It was so frustrating.
if I ever see this guy, I swear I'm going to tell him.
Yeah.
I promise. I mean, and like I saw him like face to face. I was like,
you didn't even know what to say.
yeah, right.
Hey, Coach.
I love your hat.
Yeah.
And you're a bum.
You want some grass?
But we started to hate each other at the end.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you got hate in your heart, let it out.
He would call me Gordy when he come on the radio, like take
yeah.
a dig at me. And one of the last times he did it, I thanked him. I said, "Thank you, Coach Saban." On the way, I mean, Coach Miles.
Oh my
yeah,
God.
and he never spoke to me ever.
I bet.
Oh God.
What a
I was like,
compliment.
I mean, you want to do the name incorrect thing? Like, I don't get Gordy don't affect me.
Right.
I know who affects you. I know who's got your number. You know what I mean? I know who you peek over your shoulder at.
Later, Leslie.
Later, Nikki. I mean, Leslie. You fucking bum. Have a good day. Hit that like button, share button, comment button. We appreciate you being here. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning, 7 a.m.